Hi, I'm Erin.
I'm Traci.
And this is Did We Think This Through? But actually, I'm not Erin or Traci. I'm Brookyn, the producer. I'm not sure if you know who I am. I usually sit behind that camera and do all the hard work while the ladies come up here and yap all day. As you can see, there's something a little bit silly going on. And that's me. That's me being silly and the lack of your regularly scheduled weekly co-hosts. I don't know where Traci is. She's probably at a wedding or something else important. Erin is sick, unfortunately. Me and Erin were going to have a hilarious Brookyn Erin episode, and it was going to be awesome, but I guess she doesn't like me. Just kidding. She's sick. She's home. She's getting rest. So I said, don't worry, guys. I will take it over. They don't call me a super producer for nothing. It's a true story. People do call me super producer. Well, actually, I asked people to call me super producer, but I'm pretty nervous. I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. I grew up as a YouTube kid. I have always been making videos in my room, so I really know how to talk to myself. But I think what Erin and Traci do is a lot different. I guess I have a little bit of a podcast background. Of course, I have credentials for being the producer of this well put together podcast, but I've also talked behind the camera. I took a podcasting class at U of I my last semester with Glenn Mosley, shouts out, and it was really fun. I made a short 3-minute podcast about private prisons and prison reform, and then 2 other short 3-minute podcasts where I'm just interviewing people. And then I made one long, well, it was very long. That podcast was supposed to be an hour long. We ended up recording 4 hours talking about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. But I have a clipboard in front of me to try and help keep me on track because I'm not sure how this is going to go. Today's episode is going to be me yapping about how this production all gets put together and maybe a little bit about myself and then maybe some of my favorite moments. It is episode 20 this week. Congratulations, guys. Oh, wow. This feels wow. I feel wow. Okay. I'm going to go down my list, make sure that I'm not missing anything. I was having a really hard time figuring out whose chair I wanted to sit in. I almost considered moving this entire upstairs around so that way I could be in the middle. But I'm actually going to I was going to choose Erin's chair because one time before I did come into the podcast studio and use it to record. I was filming a video about March Madness, which, when we were recording this podcast episode around March Madness time, they had mentioned how I do March Madness based off of mascots and not the actual team. And I sat in that chair, and that is where I started today. And then I realized the way that the room is set up in here, I can actually see the camera monitor a lot better on this side. So I'm going to stay on this side. And I did also want to show the video viewers what this space looks like. I'm actually going to just pull my phone out. What you can't see, what if you've been an audio listener and you literally have no idea what Erin and Traci even look like, and you don't even know that they sit in 2 chairs in front of a wooden background? Well, now you know. There's also a poster and a plant back there, and there's some cool cups in here. But behind the camera, this is just the upstairs of Traci's office building, and there's just like office chairs, and I usually sit on the floor right there. I don't like sitting in chairs. Especially if I'm like writing stuff down. I like to sit on the floor and spread out my stuff all over the place. I'm also nervous for this episode because there's nobody monitoring. I'm usually back behind that camera with headphones on, listening to make sure the audio sounds good. I'm also watching the camera to see how long we've been recording and to make sure everything looks beautiful and perfect, but also to take, I call them time code notes, where it helps me when I'm editing. Oh my God, nobody even cares. This is such a film major moment. I'm sorry. But I take time code notes. So that way when I sit down and edit the podcast, I don't have to skim through all 40 minutes of it. I know exactly where I need to do edits or pull out clips or add graphics or whatever. But I'm not doing that this time, obviously, because I'm talking and I can see that the camera's recording, but I can't see good enough to see how many minutes it's been, so I have no idea. Okay, producer takeover. Oh, right. I apologize. I would like to take a moment to apologize to you, the audience. Maybe the reason you watch this show is for the fun co-producer back and forth dynamic. You even sometimes get a third person when I chime in. And right now it's just me and you. And maybe this feels a little too intimate, a little too jarring. Maybe I'm nowhere up your alley the same way that Traci and Erin are, which I could totally imagine because based off of the audience data that I've pulled from social media, most of you are middle-aged white moms. Am I wrong? Or Traci's older friends, right? Maybe you guys think I'm literally not even... This is why I stay behind the camera. You cannot... I'm comfortable in front of a camera when I can edit, but one long stretch of me talking is really intimidating. And I deserve to be in the Traci chair because my nose is running and I keep trying to pick my boogies, and that's what Traci does. So I think it makes sense. I also think that me and Traci are both very ADHD, which you can probably tell based off of how I'm jumping from one thing to another with nobody but this clipboard to reel me back in. You know what? And to reel it back in, I would like to talk about this clipboard. Audio listeners, you can't see, but I've got lots of fun stickers on the back. My favorite being your mom's house, and also a sticker for this podcast, of course, and also some Minecraft stickers and some Dutch Bros stickers. During that Q&A episode, when I asked the girls if they could have any custom license plate, and they said they don't really believe in license plate customization or like car stickers, I think that really bummed me out because I think that is a really fun and easy way to bring some joy, magic, and whimsy into your life. So I think that we need to convince Erin and Traci to have some more fun with their cars, personally. Okay. Yes, my notebook, because I'm super producer. I take this clipboard around with me everywhere. What I do in town, I do video production in town, obviously, if you couldn't tell. I do this, but I also do lots of stuff on campus. I applied for an on-campus video production job, so fingers crossed. You guys don't care. I don't. All right, moving on. What I do. This is what I do. I already told you guys what I do. I pull clips, I edit, I get these ladies in this room at the same time. Because you guys actually don't know this. Erin and Traci actually aren't very good friends in real life. They bully each other a lot. They're not very kind to each other. They talk shit behind each other's backs. It's all just one big facade for the camera, actually. And now you're just finding out. Another thing I want to expose Erin and Traci for, specifically Erin, I might get fired for this. Not really. We've got these mugs up here, right? These well-branded, Did We Think This Through podcast mugs. And inside of Erin's mug, I'm not even kidding you, is a chewed up piece of gum. Isn't that disgusting? Just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. I don't really care. I'm going to be really vulnerable with you guys and share something with you guys. I don't believe that swallowing your gum is bad. I think that that's just a myth put out by big bubble gum I don't know. Nobody's gonna ever hire me or respect me ever again. Why am I like opening myself up to you? Nobody's forcing me to do this. I have swallowed probably almost every single piece of gum I've ever had. Okay, we need to move on immediately. We need to. Okay, very quickly, before I kind of talk about some podcast highlights, I kind of want to talk about how I got here. One day I was sitting on the side of the road looking sad, sort of, and in a green little car, Traci and Erin pull up, these two ladies I'd never heard of before, and they go, "Hey, we want to make a podcast. You look like you'd be a really good producer. You should come produce our podcast." And then I got in their car and they brought me to the studio, and I have lived here ever since. Just kidding. Again, you probably didn't think that was funny at all, and this audience has no connection with me. It's okay. It's okay. I graduated with my bachelor's in film and television studies from the U of I last May, and I have been in town kind of just being available for opportunities. I love to make stuff. I love to produce things and get my hands on projects, whatever it may be. It's really exciting for me. It's what I want to do for the rest of my life. It's what I've been doing my whole life. And I stayed in town, and my professor, Kyle Howerton, shouts out. He was like, hey, he texted me during winter break, this most recent winter, and said, hey, I have some people interested in doing a local podcast. Would you have any interest in producing? And I was actually on set for a different project that we were filming over winter break. And I was like, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know if it was going to be like, I didn't know who it was. I kind of thought it was going to be like, I don't know, two bros trying to do a podcast. And I was like, this is kind of silly. And then my friends kind of made fun of me for wanting to produce a podcast. But then I actually got in contact with Traci and Erin, and they had graphics. Like, I saw this graphic. There's a poster behind me. If you're listening on audio, it's a pink poster, and they had all these graphics ready to go before I was even onboarded. And I was like, oh, these guys look so cute. And I love their little attitude and their little energy. And this is going to be so much fun. And then we had a first meeting, and somebody was late. I don't remember who was first and who was late. But somebody was here first and chatted with me, and somebody came in late. And as soon as they got here, they started making fun of each other and bickering just like good friends do. And we seemed to get along really well. And I was like, oh, this is really fun. And then we shot they showed me the podcast that they shot on their phone, which actually was not that bad at all. And we recorded a little practice episode, the pilot episode that's on all the platforms, as its title is episode 1 pilot. And that went really well. It was really long. It was practically an hour long. And since then we have been wanting to cut it down, which we have. Yeah. Okay. See, now I have no idea what I'm talking about. That's how bad my ADHD is. I actually just forgot entirely what we were talking about. And I don't have another person here to reel me back in. So on that note, when I am sitting back there monitoring as we're recording podcast episodes, I take notes as things are happening. I have two sides of the paper. The left side of the paper is my time code notes. So that's if there's any audio issues, clips I want to pull, graphics I need to put in. It's like, okay, at 5 minutes in, Traci talks about her dog. I need to put a picture of Traci's dog in there. There's another side called BB notes. And after recording the first podcast or two, I realized that I have a lot to say about what these girls have to say, but it's not my podcast, so it's not my place to interject always. I do interject with like fact checks or if I feel like I have something really important to add, but for the most part I try to keep quiet because I'm behind the camera and I'm not mic'd up usually. And so the other section of the page is BB notes, where I just write down everything that I want to talk to the girls about when the podcast wraps. There is a time-lapse footage of the routine is we wrap, and then I tell them like, great episode, here's how long it was. And then we just debrief everything that we talked about in the episode, all the thoughts that I had about what they had to say, and maybe things that are more controversial and not so friendly for the podcast. I get to hear. Mwahaha. If we go viral and we become famous, we can do other podcasts too, which is get a Patreon, and then you get like the after show extended cut 20 minutes of us talking about more controversial, offensive things, but there's like a paywall behind it. To the four people that are watching this that for some reason want 20 minutes more of it. Anyways, I have I don't have as many as I thought, but I do have a couple of pages of notes from the past couple of episodes with some funny notes that I want to just kind of read through for you guys. Are you ready? Is everybody okay with that? We're going to be flipping paper really close to this mic, so I'll give you some ASMR if you guys are into that. But maybe some people don't know what ASMR is. If you don't know what ASMR is, it's like relaxing. Think of like how people listen to like rain noises at night, or like how my mom really liked putting on Bob. Oh gosh. Oh no, what's his name? Oh no, the artist with the big hair, and he beats the devil out of the brush. Bob. Oh no, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. And for some reason, the only word coming to my head is Bob Dylan. And this is why podcasts need a producer on the floor to Google things on their phone. ASMR is like helps put you to bed. It's like people recording videos of themselves whispering in the microphone, tapping, doing little taps, little jangly taps. So I'm gonna put this paper really close to the microphone. You're gonna hear it flip. Ready? Was that awesome or what? Okay, all the way back to episode 13 when we talked about Karens and what it means to be a Karen, and getting white mom wasted and dealing with conflict. I had a quick note about making a slurp compilation where I made this TikTok that was letting our Gen Z producer make a trailer for us or something like that. And it's just taking all the goofy, bad moments that really should not be in the highlight reel, but you know, that's what makes it funny. And every time that one of the girls would take a sip, I would add a really loud slurping noise. And so that's been a bit we've done a couple times. So I just wrote down, make a slurp compilation, which, speaking of slurping, I'm going to take it. I got a delicious cup of Gypsy Java this morning on my way here. And I was like, am I really going to be able to drink it? Because the other girls have moments to drink a little drink on air because they're talking to each other. So while they're listening and the other person is talking, they are more than welcome to take a little drinky. But if I take a little drinky, then there will be nothing going on. But you guys are just going to have to deal with me. Give me 5 seconds while I take a delicious drink of this drink, and then I'll tell you all about this drink. Ready? See? Not too bad. This is from Gypsy Java. I go there almost every single day, and I've been getting a drink called a Hello Kitty. I think it's pomegranate, raspberry, and green apple, or maybe I just made that up. But I love Gypsy Java, and they're very friendly, and I go enough that I pulled up today, and she's like, hi, Hello Kitty? And I was like, yes, how did you know? That's what I always get. Gypsy's also fun because they do 2 mini straws sometimes instead of 1 big one, and they'll ask you what your straw preference is. And I think that choice is really fun. And I really like the mini straws. That's like one of the biggest reasons I go to Gypsy Java in town instead of Dutch Bros, because I used to be a really hardcore Dutch Bros fan. But she said that she liked my outfit. This is my outfit, fit check. For the audio listeners, I'm wearing a green skirt and a like a vest thingy. I kind of look like a business lady, girl boss business lady. But I said, thank you, I'm dressing up. I'm about to go. I was trying to explain the concept of what's happening right now. That, I in a casual coffee shop interaction. I produce a podcast for some local ladies, but actually they're both not going to be at the studio, so I'm going to sit there and record, but I'm not usually there behind the camera, so I'm just going to go talk to myself. But that's why I'm dressed up, and yeah, and they're like, oh, okay. No, they're really nice about it, but yeah, I think I need to make a slurp compilation. I have written down, my mom only calls me when she's driving. I think they must have been talking about talking to your kids or feeling in a chatty mood while you're driving, or how they always drive and visit together, and that's like a fun friends activity. My mom always calls me when she's like getting ready or when she's like going somewhere, like a destination. I think it's just like the perfect little pocket of time to fill like a little, 20, 30, 40 minute conversation. And then there's a nice end. Like she'll call me when she leaves the house, and then like when she gets to her appointment or whatever, then it's like, okay, bye. And I think that that's really fun. Okay. Next episode I have episode 16, patio time. This is when, Erin's restaurant bar, the 42, opened up their patio, and we went and sat on it. It was so stinking nice. Minor complaint about Moscow weather and Idaho weather. I was born and raised in Boise. I came up to Moscow for school. I've been in Idaho my whole life. I know how the weather is. I know that it's like batshit crazy and goes all over the place. every year since I've been in college, we have had what we call a picnic day. And this is the day that it's like the first time the sun has really come out since like it's been cold. And it's usually later in the spring. It's usually around finals. And it'll just be like one extraordinarily nice day. The grass is extra green. The sun is out. And everybody on campus is out. Like all the fields have people on picnic blankets, and all the sorority people, all the Greek life are out playing whatever you call it. The game where you like hit a ball into like a net circle on the ground. They're playing that. They're all out hammocking, tanning, reading books. And it's so fun. It's like, oh, okay, school's about to be out. It's finally nice. And we always go on a picnic. Well, not really. We go set out a picnic blanket and then we go lay out in the sun. Or last year we collaged on the blanket, whatever. This year, we had our picnic day and then it got way colder for a week. And that happened like 3 times where it was like, okay, spring is here, warm weather is here, the start of sunshine and sparkles. And then it's raining and 50 degrees for the next entire week. So I swear that happened 3 times. But a couple days ago, we had our real picnic. Excuse me if I just hit my own mic. We had a real picnic day. We went out we just found a field, me and my friends, and laid on some blankets and listened to music. And it was super fun and super awesome. But I'm just looking back at, we shot this episode on April 27th, and that was one picnic day, and then we had another picnic day in the middle of May, and then we just had another one. So I'm hoping that now it's going to be warm forever, which kind of makes sense because I feel like this winter, it didn't start snowing until way late into the winter, so maybe that makes sense that it's not like super sunny until way later. And it was so freaking nice. Yesterday, me and my friends went up and hiked up Moscow Mountain, and it was so fun. Ooh, insert picture here, if I remember. But it's not very nice out anymore. That's too bad. That's okay, though. Oh, well, I don't have any notes to share with you from that episode anyway, so I'm glad I brought that up. Episode 17, Religious Karens, Party Lines, Voting Mistakes. Traci was really, really nervous about this episode going out. She's so funny. Anytime, when I first started producing this podcast, they were like, no religion, no politics. And we have talked about either of those almost every single episode. But it's authentic. And that's what is, more than anything, this show is about: authenticity. And they don't censor themselves, but they are careful in the ways that they need to be, and in the ways that they are most passionate about, or that they care about the most, that they would talk about in their day-to-day life, they come and share with everybody here. And then every single time afterwards, Traci's all, Brookyn, we might need to cut this. She said that at least 4 times. Brookyn, we might not be able to air this. Ooh. But I think that it's just fine. And even if we're not getting a lot of long-term streams on like YouTube or Spotify, the clips are doing really good. And I think it's like a nice little journal for them. I love making content, like making my own content about or with myself so much, because it's like the most perfect time capsule ever to go back and look at old videos you made. I have the biggest digital footprint of anybody I've ever met in my entire life. I have been making content since I was in 3rd grade, and I have a playlist of, it's just really egregious, and a lot of it is really cringy and almost unwatchable. But I love to watch it because it's like, here's how I felt and acted and talked, and my sense of humor in this moment in time. And I think that's very true for what Traci and Erin are doing. I think that even if they don't go famous and viral, that they'll come back to these episodes and watch them and be like, oh, wow, we used to, I don't know, here's what we thought about this stuff going on in this moment in time. Or there's probably some interesting foreshadowing too. I bet we're 20 episodes in. I bet we even go back to any of the first episodes. There's some silly foreshadowing. But anyways, the only highlighted note I have here is I like to name the clips that I write down so I know what I'm talking about. And the name for this clip that I don't think I ever ended up actually pulling is just pompous, arrogant asshole. I think somebody told Traci off for not going to church, and that's what she called them. Checks out for me. Okay. Episode 18, Mother's Day. At the end of episode 18, at the ends of episodes 17 and 18, we've been doing some silly stuff this month. That's why I'm here talking to you right now, is because Traci has a really busy month with like weddings and events and stuff going on. So in order to like stock up on content, when we recorded 17 and 18, at the ends of those episodes, we recorded 2 sets of a Q&A episode, and then I stitched those together. That's what came out last week. And in one of them, somebody talks about Reese Witherspoon. And that just made me think of my most favorite joke of all time. My dad taught it to me while I was camping. And I perfectly executed it on my uncle, and it was awesome. And I think I'm going to try and call my boyfriend right now and do the joke to him just as an example. So bear with me. This is either going to be really awesome or go really south. Okay, here's the joke. We're going to execute it. My boyfriend's name is Amin. He grew up here in Moscow, and he also graduated. Okay, you're on air. Don't say anything inappropriate. I have a joke for you.
Can I say something inappropriate?
No. I'm literally like 20 minutes deep into this episode by myself. You can't say anything I need to cut. Okay, I have a joke for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Or I mean, erase your memory. I don't have a joke for you. I have a piece of news to deliver.
Right.
Oh my gosh, did you hear about that actress that just died? Oh my gosh, she just got stabbed. It was like a really brutal stabbing. Reese, what's her last name? Reese,
Witherspoon?
No, with a knife.
Wow.
Okay, and that's it. That's the whole joke.
That was terrible.
And I love you, and I'll call you as soon as this is done. Bye. I'm almost positive he's heard that before. Oh my God. But that's the joke. You set up somebody to say Reese Witherspoon, but you're saying that she got stabbed, and so Witherspoon sounds like with a spoon, and then you respond with right. You saw it. You understand the joke. I think you guys should take this joke and prank your family and friends. Thank you. Yeah, that's all I have for episode 18. Okay, so the last thing I have here is the Q&A episode that we just did. It was really fun, and those girls really took those questions and ran. They're freaking little chatty Cathys. I guess that's why they do this podcast after all. I have some leftover questions that I didn't get a chance to ask them that I'm not really in the mood to save, so I'm just going to ask myself. Question 1. If you could have one food or ingredient for the rest of your life, this is different than a comfort food, just like one thing, one food ingredient forever, what would it be? My answer, and this is not because I'm an Idaho girl, potatoes. Potatoes are the most versatile thing ever. If you committed to, I could only have one food, and your answer was potatoes, bam, hash browns, fries, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, hash browns, did I already say that? Tater tots, scallop potatoes, breakfast potatoes, all of the things. And I don't eat meat, and usually instead of like a meat alternative, like a veggie patty or like ground tofu substitute or something, I just would rather eat a real life other food than a fake meat. So I usually, I usually use potatoes if I'm making like anything. So potatoes is my answer for if I could have one food forever, what would it be? Next question. Do you have a favorite pen? Yes, I do. I don't even have it. It is a very specific kind of black pen. It's very juicy. I literally can't tell you more information about it because it's not right in front of me, but the answer is yes, I do have a favorite pen. And I tried to get a pack of it when I was at the store last, and it looked like it would be the same, and I wrote with it, and it was a different kind of point. The one that I like is very like thick and juicy. The one that I got is very like pointy and particular. I have always written with a black pen my whole life, even in middle school and high school. It made my life really hard. I never had pencils for tests because I was always just writing with pens. I kind of wonder if that's, sometimes when I have unexplained mannerisms or behaviors, the answer will end up being ADHD. I wonder if that's an ADHD thing somehow, like hating pencils and only liking pens, because I hate the idea that a pencil, I have to either constantly be replacing the lead or constantly replacing the pencil sharpener. And that's just like another step of things to do, getting in between me and whatever I'm trying to get done. And people with ADHD, the more steps there are to complete a task, the less likely I'm going to do it. And so like having a pen ready to go, click it, it's fully sharpened, it's fully inked up, ready to go. I much prefer that. But again, as an ADHDer, like I'm constantly scribbling things out. Every single one of these pages, there is so many scribbling outages. Yeah, okay, next question. Do you believe in star signs? Me, personally, I'm a Sagittarius, if you care to know. No. Short answer, no. I think that they are all very vague and very... I mean, that is just what it is. It's like all vague enough, but like fake specific enough that you could be any star sign and read any star sign and be like, oh my gosh, yes, that's exactly like me. But I don't think it is harmful, and I think it's fun, and I think that why not derive meaning from silly things? Like, I derive meaning if I see a cool rock, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good day because I just saw a cool rock and I might have not seen this cool rock. And I think that, you know what am I even talking about? Genuinely, what am I even talking about? There's nobody here to reel me back in from making zero sense. So I'm going to stop all in my head, and I'm actually going to move on to the next question. Next question. This is maybe more appropriate for the girls, but if you were commencement speaker, what would you say? When it was my graduation, the commencement speaker was, I think, some author, and he like came down to Moscow and like learned about the students and about the campus, and then came back for his commencement speech and was like, here's what I've learned about this community, and probably some other motivational stuff, and it was pretty cool. This year, it was the Chobani guy. Okay, can I say my hot take about the Chobani guy at graduation, at the U of I graduation this year, or am I going to get canceled? I think there are worse things that I could say, and I don't think he will come personally attack me. The Chobani guy's grad speech at the U of I graduation this year was interesting because he talked about how Chobani only has like 2 factories or something, and one factory is in a spot that makes sense, and then, or like where he lives or something, and that company was getting ready to expand, and they're like, oh, we need to build another factory. Where should we build it? And the other factory's in Idaho for some reason, and he was trying to say, oh, we built it in Idaho because we just love Idaho's community. We just like love the personality of Idaho, and everybody we talked to was just so like, I don't know, we just like love the people of Idaho, so we built our factory here. You build your factory in Idaho because it's cheap as fuck to do anything here, especially build shit. So at least that's what all the students that I have talked to about this speech. I'm not trying to be a hater, but it was kind of silly when it's like, oh, we just love Idaho so much because it's just so charming. That's what he was saying, I think. Idaho is charming. It's charming because it's cheap for other people to come here and do stuff. The other part of his speech was all very heavy on AI and was like, no need to be afraid of AI because people were afraid of paper when paper first came out. Which I don't disagree that maybe this graduation was an appropriate time to talk about AI because I know that it's been on everybody's minds and everybody's been freaked out about it, but I don't know, it seemed kind of silly. And I kind of feel like, side note, of course, that's all this podcast is side notes and tangents and yapping. I think that I just barely dodged AI. I never used like ChatGPT. I never used AI for any of my homework because by the time like ChatGPT was like whatever happened 2 years ago, and it's just like the first text prompt one, and people were using it for for essays and stuff. I was at the point in my degree where I wasn't writing essays, I wasn't doing homework anymore, or like assignments anymore. I'm a film major, so I was making stuff. There's no AI there. You got to pull your camera out and go make stuff. You could argue there's AI in editing, but I'm learning, so we're doing everything by hand and old school for now. But I graduated last year, and it sounds like this year it's like really the AI use is a little bit spooky. I know I didn't say anything groundbreaking. I literally just said, yeah, AI is kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. You gained nothing from hearing that opinion from me, and I apologize. Okay, last note that I'll leave you guys with on AI is, I had asked the girls in the Q&A episode how they felt about AI being incorporated into art. When I was giving the example of using AI tools in like post-production. Like for what I do, they are what's it called? They have been introducing like generative extend or things that aren't like you're not like putting a prompt into an AI creator, which, oh my God, that's another thing. Have you guys seen the Google like VO3, the new Google AI software release is AI videos that can talk, and all of them are super, super creepy. All of the prompts for the example videos have been like, we're AI, we're just prompts, we're not even real. This world that we created is just code and blah, blah, blah.
Do you think we live in a simulation?
And it's just like weird and eerie, but it looks really, really good. And it looks legit. And since that has come out, the past couple of days scrolling on my feed, since it's like on my feed, I have genuinely had to look at almost every single video and been like, is this real or is this AI? Like, and going to their profile to see if it's like just a normal person with like a normal amount of engagement on a TikTok account, or if it's like a brand new account and it's all AI. And it was like 50-50. If I saw something on my feed and I wasn't sure if it was AI or not, and I would go double check, it was 50-50 whether or not it was. And that's crazy. Okay, well, thank you for spending some time with me. I really appreciate that. I don't know how long this is. I don't know how long I've been talking. I can't see the monitor. If this is short, you in a couple of moments are going to experience some of my favorite highlights and clips from the past 9 episodes. We did a highlights reel for episode 10, I think. So I will probably throw some highlights in here. If not, if I did a good job yapping, then you can see all of those clips and highlights on our TikTok and Instagram reels. I'd like to maybe get us on YouTube Shorts. If anyone has been listening this far and is listening to me, and you guys have any ideas on what we could do to make this show better, don't be afraid to reach out. I know the only people I'm talking to right now are Traci and Erin watching this in their home tomorrow before it gets posted. Oh, I guess Traci's out and about, but yeah, we'll see. Remember when we did Good Week, Bad Week next week? Okay, I'm gonna do that. Throwback, we used to do Good Week, Bad Week, where at the end of the episode, the girls would say practically their rosebud and thorns for their week. The best thing that happened, the worst thing that happened, and what they're excited for next week. Rose, thorn, and bud is something that I love to do. It's a great icebreaker. Side note, on set, my favorite icebreaker activity in the morning, or, when we first get to set, is down by the bay, down by the bay, where animals grow, back to my home. It's a good way to get, it's like it's an icebreaker where people don't have to think about their answers, people are tired and groggy, but it's a good way to get everybody in a circle and giggle and do some competition. And then, at the end, or actually usually during the meal break, I like doing rose, thorn, and bud. What's your favorite part of set so far? What's your least favorite part? What are you excited for? Help us get through the rest of the day. So if any of you guys need help on how to run a set, I'm your girl. Okay, you know what? During this producer takeover, I am going to plug myself. Hey, I am a video producer here in Moscow, Idaho. If you have any video production needs, I am always eager for new opportunities. I love to learn and do different things. I've got quite a large tool belt and access to resources. And again, I'm just going to plug it one more time. They don't call me super producer for nothing. Super producer Brookyn. I used to also be called, before I realized that I really liked producing, I was doing assistant directing, which the biggest job of assistant directing is just keeping everybody on set happy. And that's like what I'm good at, is like keeping the on-set vibes up. So my nickname also used to be Vibes Keeper as first AD. Oh, it's the Vibes Keeper. If the director is too frustrated to talk to cast or crew about something that's on their mind and they feel like they're going to accidentally say it meanly, director will tell me and I will be the anger translator. Anyways, super producer. Hey, what do you think? Super producer, if I didn't get my ass in this chair and go out of my comfort zone a little bit and have probably a hard time with this edit, but that's okay. Hey, maybe you can't hear me because I can't monitor the audio. I put this shit together. And maybe I'm cursing too much. No, we curse all the time. I think this is just fine. It feels kind of awkward to end this without another person. Do you guys think that I can edit a fist explosion by myself? We're gonna see. Oh, I didn't even say good week, bad week. This is why you shouldn't do a podcast by yourself. Okay. Good week. What has happened this week? Oh, I had a really fun weekend. I set most of my own hours, and so I have a really bad habit of working through the weekend, and then I'm burnt out for the next week. So I'm trying to use my weekends, and my best friend Dylan's been working a lot. He's about to leave town to go live in Boise. So he's been working a whole bunch, but he has weekends off too. And so this weekend we hiked up. We just did a bunch of fun things. We went out and, my friend's tan. I go out and I cover myself except for my freckles, and then I put my cheeks and my nose in the sun, and that's how I just tanned that one strip on my face. But we did that, and we went hiking at Trailwaters Split Head. Some combination of what I'm saying is where we went on Moscow Mountain. It's like 10 minutes away. So pretty. It looks like a Jurassic World set. It looks like we kept pointing out little nooks and crannies. We're like, oh, that's where we put our Barbie house. That's where we put our Barbie house. And it's really nice because it's not too in the sun. It's pretty shady too. And we ate sandwiches at the top, which is one of my favorite traditions from living in Boise. We'd go hike up Table Rock and have sandwiches at the top. So we got to do that. And that was really fun. That was my good week. My bad week, maybe, I don't know. My life's pretty perfect. I'm having a great time. Just kidding. But also not just kidding. I don't know that I have anything off the top of my head for a bad week, which I think the girls normally have to really sit there and think about their bad week. Maybe, I'm just apartment hunting for next year. And that's always not super fun. I've got a tour for 2 apartments. Unfortunately, the only thing that my only requirements, I'm trying to maybe move in with somebody else, and we were like, we don't care about anything, but I really want a bathtub. I am a bathtub girly. I love taking baths, and I didn't have a bathtub when I moved to college and was in the dorms, and then at this apartment that I'm in right now. So I was like, I just really want a bath. I don't care about anything else. And then someone I might move in with, they said they just want a dishwasher. They don't want anything else. And another thing too for me a little bit is easy parking. Both of the units I'm looking at don't have a dishwasher or a bath, and one of the parking is really spooky, really, really spooky, and the other one, I'd have to move in way before my other lease stuff. Anyways, you guys don't care. So just apartment issues. And what I'm looking forward to next week is Erin and Traci to come back so I can monitor behind the camera where I belong. Thank you for watching. I'm going to try and do a really cool explosion effect. Are you ready?